Why playing dumb might be the smartest teaching strategy.
You often talk with many teachers and parents about methods for teaching children and ways to communicate with them. Actually, sometimes teachers think they're the smartest, that they know everything and want to teach everything. But in fact, when working with children, it's actually best to take a different approach and pretend not to know everything. Because when you pretend not to know everything in front of children, it gives them a sense of accomplishment, it opens up their minds, and that's when they'll interact with you and listen to you. But pretending not to know is not easy, because everyone thinks, oh, I don't make mistakes, I just teach them how to follow the rules. But if we think about it, have we really succeeded? Has that method actually worked for you? Let's ask ourselves that honestly. I tell many parents the way you teach your children, insisting they behave a certain way and follow all the rules, turning them into someone rigid and dull has. That approach actually worked for you? Or is it just something you read in a book? Or do you just want your child to become exactly like you? Or like what you hope for? That's why a child's potential for growth is limitless. So sometimes you should try it yourself. Pretend to be clueless with your child. And for example, when you communicate with them, sometimes just go, wow, what is that? I really have no idea how you came up with that. Anyway, using all these different methods, what children lack most is confidence. Once you give them a chance and they see that the teacher is even more clueless than they are, they feel a sense of accomplishment. That's when they start to express themselves. That's when they really open up, and it's the same for parents too. Many people think that as long as you don't go down the wrong path and just keep teaching and teaching, but the more you teach, the less they understand. And the more you teach, the more they push back, because reasoning never really works. The only wise way so communicating with children is the same as with adults. The first skill in communication is listening, but people nowadays can't do it. Teachers just say what they want to say. Parents also plan what they want to say, whether the other person listens or not doesn't matter to them. Is that really education? That's just lecturing. And what happens in the end? It just bounces back on you. Basically, they just think you're talking nonsense. Everyone knows the reasoning, but they just can't do it. Even teachers can't do it themselves in many cases. So the best way to communicate, I always say, the best way to communicate is to listen. To see what children are thinking, to see what others are thinking. And the second thing, playing dumb, means that the second communication skill is to say what the other person wants to hear, not what you want to say. Those two are different, you know. Only then does it become a partnership between the two of you, and only then is there real communication, that connection. Third, say what they want to hear. And then third, slip in a bit of advertising insert what you want to say. That's called marketing. These three communication skills are very important, and you have to keep reinforcing them. Why do advertisements, why do television dramas play for a bit, then cut to commercials, and then back to the show? It's to brainwash you. It's true. One day when you remember this product, you go to a big department store and immediately spot that brand has already been implanted in your mind, and you'll go straight for it. For example, there are hundreds of kinds of toothpaste, but you pick the one you recognize, the one you remember, because you're already used to it. So the first communication skill is listening, the second is saying what they want to hear, and the third is subtly inserting what you want to say. It's not about putting in a lot at once, just a little bit at a time, so it actually gets through to them, so they feel like you're on the same side. But it's very hard for teachers and parents to do this, because everyone thinks, I need to cram in a lot of things, a lot of knowledge. So I think schools shouldn't try to teach too many things. You learn it and forget it, learn it and forget it. And in the end, it's all left to the teachers. But what really matters is teaching how to be a good person. But when it comes to teaching how to be a good person, the first thing is that you have to be one yourself. If you can't be a good person yourself, and then you try to teach others how to be one, that just doesn't make sense, right? So what I mean is, when it comes to communication, sometimes pretending to be clueless in front of kids is actually an art. Because teachers are under a lot of pressure. They feel like they have to teach so many things, so much knowledge. They worry, if I don't teach it well, what will happen to the students in the future? But if a person is kind-hearted and compassionate and knows how to be a good person, they'll be fine for their whole life. So if you look at all the entrepreneurs and successful people, none of them were top students. Most of them made it by just coasting along. Laughter. Those who get masters or doctoral degrees usually end up as employees. That's just how it is. Look, which entrepreneur in the world actually graduated from a top university? Take Taiwan, for example, professionals. The more they study, the duller they become. But the more creative and unconventional someone is, often without much formal education, the more likely they are to become a major entrepreneur. Look at Terry Gu from Taiwan. What did he study? He only graduated from Wanyu District Elementary School. Are there any major entrepreneurs with really high academic qualifications, like a master's or doctorate? Are there, Take Morris Chang, for example, a technical expert, but he was invested in by the government. He's a professional manager, not someone who started his own business. It's a completely different way of thinking. Entrepreneurs and professional managers are two different concepts. Don't say Morris Chang is amazing. He's a professional manager. He was recruited by executives, headhunted for his expertise. That's what a professional manager is. You need specialists for that. But behind them are the bosses, the shareholders, right? It's the same concept that didn't start the business himself. People like Wang Yongqing and Terry Gu, they started their own businesses. They're the actual bosses, right? So don't ever think that Morris Chang is the owner of TSMC. Don't get it wrong, everyone. A lot of the shareholders' assets weren't created by him. It was the Ministry of Economic Affairs in Taiwan that created this value, right? So sometimes our way of thinking, he reads a lot of books and thinks that's how it is, that he's an expert, a professional manager, but that's a completely different concept, okay? Exactly. So changing your mindset is a whole different thing. Yes. So it's all about practice. That's why I tell a lot of parents that it's actually a good thing. If kids are a bit disobedient, it means they'll achieve something. If they're always obedient, always just good, one day they won't be able to survive in society. I tell a lot of parents, if your child can't even fool you, how will they manage in society? If they can trick you, that's actually a good thing. If parents have the right mindset, you'll see that if your child often tricks you, it means they're very capable. Exactly. If they can't even fool you, what will they do when they face problems in society later on? It's all about the parent's mindset. And being mischievous, actually, the more mischievous, the better. If they're not mischievous, that's when you should worry. Parents and teachers need to change their way of thinking. It's not a child's problem. Sometimes if we just shift our mindset a little, things become much easier. So many mischievous kids. Kids who don't listen you should actually be happy. Wow. These are the ones with great creative potential for the future. Then encourage them, play with them, and act silly together. Usually teachers can't do that. If you can, then you're on their side. Yes, so this is a communication skill, right? Thank you. And then the kids can do the
Lobsang's dynamic meditation.
This time when I went to Canada, I danced it with the kids, for example, with elementary school students. I told them honestly, even if you dance a little silly, it feels so relaxing for your body and mind. They said they wanted to go home and teach their grandpas and grandmas, and that in the future at school, maybe for about half an hour or 21 minutes, they would have the students dance. This way, they'll probably grow to love you more and more. Yes, that's a really good exercise. That's the feedback I got from the kids, yeah. So the benefit of doing the Lobsang flower dance is that according to the Yellow Emperor's inner canon, standing on tiptoe is the best exercise. Millet porridge is the best breakfast. Plain boiled water is the best drink. And a peaceful mind is the best way to maintain health. Right? So this is what the Yellow Emperor's inner canon says, not just meets ancient wisdom. All right? Okay. Next question.
Just now, did anyone hear what Dr. Luo said? You have to act silly, yes, act silly in front of the students, then praise their mischief and even praise their trickery, right? But have you ever thought about it since you're a teacher? How are you supposed to deal with these kids? Doesn't it make you wonder what will happen to society in the future? If everyone turns out to be someone who deceives others, what should we do, Doc? Go and truly teach them well. Laughter.
What I mean is, having this kind of initiative is actually a good thing. For example, when kids deceive others, the first principle teachers should teach is to become a kind person. And what we need to teach children is to be grateful. If a child knows how to be grateful, no matter how mischievous he is or how he tricks his family, in the end, he will become an outstanding person. Someone who doesn't understand gratitude, no matter how smart or well-behaved they are in this life, still won't contribute to society. So gratitude is the best education at home, and it's the same at school. But teachers must actually do this. For example, when a child excels or achieves something, can you say, thank you? The teacher loves you very much and is grateful for you. Can you do this for a child in front of their classmates? Then the children will know that the teacher is someone who understands gratitude, and they will naturally learn from that. But can parents and teachers really do this? If a teacher makes a mistake, can you tell the student, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Thank you for reminding me. Do you dare to do that? It's really hard. Exactly. If you can do this, then you become a role model. We are teaching others. So we have to lead by example and do it ourselves. Yes, it's the same at home. If the child makes a mistake tomorrow, or your husband makes a mistake, you tell him, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm really grateful to have you, and I forgive you. I am truly grateful. Thank you. I love you, husband. Can you say that? Yeah. That's it. If parents do this in front of their children, it becomes real life education. He will always understand that when you make a mistake, you have to admit it, and also learn to be grateful when others forgive you. This is a lesson for life. So if we really want to educate children, it's to help them become kind and grateful people, then they'll be unbeatable in the world. Even if they lie a little or do something wrong, it's not that they want to deceive anyone. Maybe they just want to get something. And today, they didn't mean to trick anyone, right? Isn't that good? So it's essential to teach gratitude and to practice it ourselves. That's why sometimes when teachers admit their mistakes in front of students and express gratitude when reminded, if we can take that step, we'll be different. At the very least, it's about saving face for teachers or parents. It's just hard to let go of pride. It's the same with couples. If neither side is willing to give in and each waits for the other to apologize first, what's the point of that argument? It's meaningless, isn't it? Right? Isn't that good? All right. Are there any other questions?
How to age gracefully? A senior's honest question.
So birth, aging, illness, and death aging is something no one can avoid. That's just a fact. A lot of people talk about anti-aging, but you just can't stop it. Once you reach a certain age, no matter what you do, you just can't stop it. Organs are naturally going to age. So I often say, and this is actually my own slogan, that what I advocate is healthy aging, not anti-aging. So when it comes to healthy aging, once you reach a certain age, you really have to cultivate your mind. Because after you turn 70, all you see is people parting through life and death moment. A classmate is gone. Next time it's someone's mother. And then another time a fellow practitioner is gone. So when you reach a certain age, all the gatherings you attend are funerals. And this is something you inevitably have to face. Of course, if you cultivate your mind, you'll realize that life is meant to go through this journey. And being able to let go is the first step. No matter how old you are, the most troubling issues are those of the mind-mental torment is even worse than physical suffering. If your mind isn't healthy, you'll be plagued by fear and anxiety, unable to sleep, and one day you'll just be lying there counting the stars. I have a friend who is an entrepreneur. His mother was bedridden for 10 years, over 100 years old. And one day she said to me, I'm 102, I want to die, but I don't know how. That kind of mindset is real. She didn't even know whether it was day or night because the lights were always on. Maybe they turned them off at night, but during the day she would wake up and fall asleep, and at night she'd do the same. Her mind was still clear. So if you don't cultivate your mind, it can be very troublesome. That's why we must face the reality of separation by life and death. It's something everyone will encounter. So why do we practice? The reason is death. But the purpose of practicing for death is to have a good death. People will die. But why don't we just die peacefully when the time comes? Lingering on in pain is very hard to bear, and that's something we can actually work on. So what I mean is, when people get older, the first thing is not to keep nagging all the time. When you're older, really, I often tell elderly people, if you keep nagging, you're actually diminishing your own blessings, and even your children will start to resent you. You don't need demons or monsters to torment you. Even your own children won't want to deal with you. So don't nag, and don't get into the habit of complaining about everything. This is what elderly people need to learn. Don't always emotionally blackmail your family like, I'm old, I'm sick. You don't come see me, you're my daughter, what's wrong with you? Emotional blackmail when you're older, don't do this. It doesn't do you any good. And don't keep talking about the past, saying, I used to this, I used to that, I used to. That's a sign of dementia. Instead of repeating yourself, why not recite sutras? If you can go out and have fun with fellow practitioners or colleagues, do it. This time, I brought many people in their 80s, and when they came back, they were completely different. So if you can go out and have fun, elderly folks, do it while you can. One day, when you can walk, that's it. Yes, being able to move is a blessing, and being able to eat is a blessing too. So a lot of people say, when you get older, what should you eat? Just eat whatever you want, don't hold back. Because you can't say, now that you're older, you can't eat this or that. If you do, you'll end up not being able to eat anything at all, since your digestive system has already weakened. So I say, if you're in your 80s and you want to eat something, just eat it. Really. Don't try to restrict yourself or force yourself to eat only healthy things like vegetables and fruit. Absolutely not. Because your digestive system just isn't in good shape anymore. Having an appetite and being able to eat is a blessing. And whether you eat 3 or 4 meals a day is all fine. But you must stay active, get some sun, and spend more time with friends. So the great benefit of joining groups is that as long as you attend classes, you interact with friends. Loneliness can ruin the person, even leading to suicide. It's extremely destructive. Yes, so just focus on chanting Buddha's name and pray every day for good death. Every day, talk to the Bodhisattva and to yourself, saying, I will definitely die. When the time comes, don't be a burden to your children. Don't trouble anyone, and don't torment yourself either. One day, you just fall asleep and pass away, Amitabha Buddha. That would be a tremendous blessing. Or, if you pass away while eating at the table, make sure you've made your wishes clear, no resuscitation. Sign all the necessary documents and make everything clear. I don't want resuscitation, no intubation. If you're in your 80s, sign it as soon as possible. And distribute whatever money you have. Don't cling to money you don't need. The more you give away, the more your children or others will take care of you. Don't be reluctant. While you're still clear-headed, quickly give away what you have. Give it to whoever it should go to. Just clear everything out and you'll be liberated. You won't lack anything in this life. But many people keep holding on, thinking, if I give this money to my children, what if I get sick? And then if something happens, you end up with no money, what then? That's when the anxieties start. But if you give it away, you actually won't lack anything because it comes back to you. In fact, your children's filial piety will return to you. Exactly. So aging is unavoidable, but nurturing your mind is very important. So while you can still get around, quickly sign what needs to be signed, do what needs to be done, and explain what needs to be explained. It's not that you'll be gone tomorrow, but explaining things one day earlier is good for you. No one knows when impermanence will come. Don't think that just because you can still walk now, it's okay to wait another year to explain things. That's just human greed and attachment, right? Isn't that so? So that's the kind of cultivation you really have to explain things early, as soon as possible, and make everything clear. Don't be reluctant. If you reach this age in life and you can let go, you won't lack anything before you die. But if you can't let go, you'll be in a lot of pain. And when you die, if you have children, it becomes a huge hassle for them to deal with your thing. Really, if there's some property involved, it's a big headache, right? How do you divide it up? It can even turn siblings into enemies because of you. Exactly. So sometimes while you're still alive, you should give away what needs to be given and take care of everything. When you do that, your whole life will be different. Especially if you're already 80, hurry up and take care of these things. Yes. If you approach things with the mindset that you might die tomorrow, your life becomes much easier. Right? So this is really about learning how to face death. Everyone will die, you know. Don't think it's something to be afraid of. Both you and I will die. No one can escape it. Whether you're rich, powerful, a mother, great, or healthy, everyone will reach this point. The greatest accomplishment is to have a good death. Right, isn't that so? Exactly. So while you're still young and able to have fun, go out and enjoy yourself. Yes, even if something happens while you're having fun, it's worth it.